Show me how it fits together. Imagine someone is explaining how a business works. They describe the accounting department, sales, marketing, operations, human resources, customer service. You understand each department individually, but after several minutes you stop them and ask, okay, but how does it all fit together? At that moment, something has changed. You were no longer asking for more information, you were asking for organization. 4 objectives. The first 3 modes we explored each organized conversation around a different objective. Pragmatic mode asks, what works? Analytical mode asks, why did it happen? Narrative mode asks, what happened? Structural mode asks something different. How does this fit together? The floor plan. We've all had the experience of understanding every individual piece while still feeling lost. Someone explains every room in a building, the kitchen, the bedrooms, the offices, the storage rooms. You know what each room is for, but until someone hands you the floor plan, you still don't know your way around. Nothing new has been added, the information hasn't changed, only the organization has. With that plan, suddenly everything makes sense. What structural mode wants? Structural mode appears whenever the mind begins organizing attention around relationships rather than individual facts. It wants to know what depends on what comes first, what belongs together, what sits above something else, how one part influences another. Its objective isn't simply knowledge, it's orientation. This is why people operating in structural mode often ask questions like, can you draw it? Where does this fit? What's the hierarchy? What's the process? How are these connected? Can you show me the framework? To someone in another mode, these questions can seem unnecessary. Why do you need a diagram? I already explained it. But from a structural perspective, the explanation isn't complete until the relationships among the parts become visible. Not the same question. Notice how different this is from analytical mode. An analytical participant wants to know why something works. A structural participant wants to know how everything connects. Those are not the same question. Likewise, pragmatic mode wants to know what to do next. Narrative mode wants to know what happened first. Structural mode wants to know where everything belongs. Each is solving a different organizational problem. Where it shows up. This is why structural thinking appears almost everywhere. Blueprints, electrical one-line diagrams, maps, family trees, military chains of command, organizational charts, software architecture, tables of contents, constitutions, taxonomies. Each one organizes relationships so complexity becomes easier to navigate. The goal isn't to add information, it's to organize information. Same meaning, different frustrations. This is also why 2 people can leave the same meeting with completely different frustrations. One leaves saying, we still haven't decided anything. Another says, we still don't understand why. A third says, we skipped over what happened. And someone else quietly thinks, I still don't understand how all this fits together. Each person may have heard exactly the same conversation. Each mind was organized around a different objective. More than neatness. Structural mode is not about being neat. It isn't about color-coded folders or perfectly arranged desks. Those may or may not accompany it. Structural mode is something much deeper. It is the recurring way the mind organizes understanding by discovering relationships among parts. It transforms collections of facts into systems. Seeing it everywhere. Once you begin noticing structural mode, you'll see it everywhere. Whenever someone reaches for a whiteboard, draws arrows between ideas, builds a hierarchy, sketches a diagram, or asks for the big picture, they're often trying to solve the same problem. Not a lack of information, a lack of organization. 4 ways of organizing. The first 4 modes now reveal 4 very different ways the mind can organize a conversation. What works? Why did it happen? What happened? How does it fit together? None is better than the others. Each solves a different problem. The more clearly we recognize these recurring configurations, the easier it becomes to understand why conversations naturally move in different directions and why understanding often begins not with more information, but with seeing how the pieces fit together. The Mercer Journal is an independent, listener-supported platform. You can back our work at ko-fi.com/wemercer. That's ko-fi.com/wemercer. Thank you for listening.